So I'm going to just put my fingers up and do a cut here, and then we're going to do that last bit again. Cut. Hey guys, so you would have seen we've had heaps of flooding in Newcastle, and been out with the drone and a few cameras just filming some of the floods, and it just struck me going across Hexham Bridge. Usually this bridge is like, I don't know, 10 metres or something above the water, but the water is actually really, you'll see some of the drone footage, the water is really close to the bridge, within a couple of metres, and it just struck me that, in troubled times, when the storms of life hit us, what are we relying on to take us across those swollen rivers in our lives, or those things that are really struggling with us? Got a great mate here, Phil, from Tassie. He's up for, I was going to say a couple of days. I actually don't know how long you're up for.
Yeah, 4 days.
4 days?
Yeah, 4 days.
So I get to spend half an hour with him, then he's, I don't know, hanging out with people he likes. But Phil, tell us a little bit about, before we kind of delve into this whole, bridge over troubled waters type concept in our lives, and what helps us get through that, and who we rely on. Tell us a little bit about your background, a little bit of your story.
Yeah. Well, firstly, I think it comes with age, is that we can actually look back and see those times that maybe we're up to our necks in troubled waters and things like that,
Yep.
And we thought we'd never get out of it, and we do actually survive. We do actually are able to rise above it, things like that. And I raised as a pastor's son, and that's not easy. It's not an easy life, going from church to church and pastoring myself. Last 10 years being pioneering a church in Burnie, Tasmania. And if you're ever down that way, please give us a buzz.
He's just built a room out the back of his place. It's really cool. I think it can cope with about 100 people or something.
Yeah.
Homemade bread, fire pit.
Oh, yeah.
Whiskey distillery. It's all there, ready to go.
Yeah, all good. Just one at a time would be really good.
Love you, Jan.
Love me. Yeah, one at a time. Actually, a couple, that'd be good.
Yep.
Still trying to get Matt and Sal down together. Matt's been down a few times, but Sal's, she reckons it's too cold. Well, I'm sitting here in Newcastle right now, and it is freezing. And, I just don't know what's happening. It's like a reversal of weather's, climates or something like that. But, raised in a Christian home, but, been through, pretty much a lot of life. And, I think I don't know whether it's age or something. We're just reflecting on, because I'm 61 now, and I look back, and I did not think I'd ever be at a stage where I'd be thinking about 61 years of life.
Yep.
From the black and white days through the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the O's, the 10s, now 20s and all that.
Yep.
And Matt pretty much, brought out about that troubled waters thing, about seeing the water lapping up underneath the bridge and things like that. And even driving over the bridge, you could think, is it going to come over the top, and is it going to, am I going to get across, And the old Simon and Garfunkel song, Bridge Over Troubled Waters and things like that. And the one thing I've realised over the years is that troubles will come. You just got to walk out the door of a morning, and the car won't start, flat tyre, the dog bites you on the leg on the way out, you get to work and something's happened with the boss. The boss is not happy.
Well, I think even like the last couple of years with COVID,
that's major.
If it showed us anything, and I know lots of people have got probably different ideas about COVID and vaccines and all that, and we're not going to get into that. Yeah. However, one of the things that COVID, I think, has really brought out is how fragile the things are that we put our hope or our trust in to get us through tough times. Yeah.
Well, we had a UK trip planned.
Yep.
2020, great years, my 60th year, and all this coming up, let's plan it. Didn't work, and so things are going to happen. And I think it's how we respond to that, or how we realise that we are pretty much feeble and fragile beings, that we don't have the capacity to get through it on our own. We don't have the ability. And I think over the years, being curled up in the fetal position in the corner, ringing up businesses, say, look, I can't pay you this week. Is it all right if I pay you over the next couple of weeks? And, and little things like that where things just haven't worked out. Sometimes we can forget that we can actually get through this. But in saying that, and in context with what Matt was saying, we do need that bridge.
Yeah.
We need that person or that situation where we can actually make our way over those troubled waters, because if not, we are going to sink.
Well, it's interesting, it's not a new concept. I mean, in the New Testament, the book of John, Jesus said, in this world you'll have trouble. So that's really encouraging, isn't it? I mean, if you stop there, that's not so encouraging. It's kind of like, thanks, Captain Obvious, we knew that.
And I think that was in his last words or something like that. Okay, guys, it's going to be tough from here on.
That's it. But then he goes on to say, but take heart, for I have overcome the world.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I know in my experience, Jesus is that bridge.
Yeah.
He is that bridge over troubled waters, that no matter how high the tide gets, no matter how much I rely on what I can do or what I can bring to a situation, it's Jesus that carries me not just over, but he actually, we're overcoming those troubled waters. What have you, what's your experience been of that, Phil?
Well, I think, just saying, and it's not about you just saying, oh, look, don't worry, Jesus will be that bridge.
Yep.
Or growing up and hear my dad saying, don't worry, rely on God. It's actually when we're in it ourselves.
Yep.
I think it's when we suddenly realise I'm out of depth here.
Yep.
There's nothing I can do, and I'll be honest with you, Matt. I remember there's just been one moment, and I know guys that you're hooking in with, and guys are listening today. You've been in those moments where, honestly, I remember just sitting in the garage one time, just shutting the roller door.
Yep.
And it sort of sounds like really, ominous, and I started thinking, would my family be better off without me? Could I convince even the insurance company that this was an accident,
Yep.
And I just suddenly realised, what am I doing here? I'm drowning.
So what was it in that moment? Because this is a really important thing, and a lot of people do face exactly what you're saying, where they're at the end of the rope, so to speak. They're at the end of their tether, and they're thinking, you know what? I got nothing.
Yeah.
Everything I know, everything I rely on, it's not. It's not pulling me through. It's not getting me across those troubled waters. So what was it in that moment that really grabbed hold of you, that really connected with, you know what? There's something there I can get through. What was it?
I'd love to say that I called out Jesus and then as the angels appeared, Gabriel was there, Michael was there. It's all right, Phil, it's okay, no worries, we've got this sorted out. All I could think of was, who's the strongest person that I know that could grasp this concept that I'm in, that one wouldn't either patronise it or laugh it off or say, oh, look, you're stupid or anything like that. And I rang a mate of mine who, he's a pretty loose cannon himself, but he works for City Mission and all that, and he works with people, and he knows situations that were tougher than mine, and things like, because I'd never experienced this. I don't know why I'd never experienced. I don't know why this was the first port of call, thinking, how am I going to get out of this, you know? But ringing my mate, who didn't say, oh, listen, mate, you just need to get over this, toughen it up, princess, He came around in the car straight away, and he said, mate, we need to hang out right now, and we need to go for a walk, and we need to pray about this. And I'd never thought, well, maybe it'd be to pray about this, might be a good idea. Been a Christian for 20, 30 years, it might be a good thing. But I was so ensconced or something, I was so overwhelmed in the whole thing that I couldn't think of a way out. I couldn't even think of a bridge. Not even a life raft or one of those things they throw to you, in the surf,
So really having somebody alongside
this guy who's a strong Christian and who I knew that would walk with me through this. He, honestly, he provided the bridge.
So in that process of your mate comes around, you spend time together, you realise, one, really importantly, you're not alone. Two,
that was a big thing.
You've got mates who will stand beside you, and they're not just waiting at like the other end of the chasm, so to speak, saying, "Hey, if you can make it over here, I'm here." They're actually in it with you. In the midst of that, can you put into words for us, how did you discover the true meaning of this verse, that Jesus has overcome the troubles? That what was it that really connected the truth of God's word to the reality of what you were feeling?
Yeah.
And what was can you sort of shape maybe in a few words what the process of that was for you?